Good day! Are we digitally ready? This is the question that teachers and learners are probably asking right now. With the advent of DepEd's Digital Rights program, the Open Educational Resources, or OER, was woven together and finally realized. This project prioritizes the necessity to enhance the digital literacy skills of every teacher and learner in the country. Our OER mission is to connect the disconnected. OER is indeed an innovative initiative with a lofty aim to get disconnected schools and last-mile schools connected through ICT even without an internet connection.
It is designed to cater to the need of these schools for interactivity, digitalization, and delivery of 21st century skills that will ensure that every learner is future ready. Join us in another training workshop and learn more about open educational resources, whose primary purpose is to provide support and assistance to learners and teachers in this rapid advancement of technology. Our goal is to build and strengthen the capabilities of public and private teachers, school heads, and supervisors by teaching you to create and design interactive, localized, and contextualized instructional materials for teaching using basic, advanced, and proficiency software and tools. Surely, this will be another exciting and engaging webinar training workshop. Together, let's all rise amidst this crisis. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, para sa guro. Sulong, ito kalidad!
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETUlay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETUlay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICT's Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del B. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETUlay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Good afternoon once again to all our grade 7 learners this Tuesday. So once again, I welcome you to the ETUlay online tutorial for English 7. It's Tuesday once again, so it's Choose English Day. So we will once again be learning different skills in English 7. And for this week 7, this is third quarter, our topic will be raising challenging, thought-provoking questions in public forum and panel discussions. So before we proceed, let me introduce myself to you. I am Tutor Drazel from SDO Pasig, and I will be guiding you every Tuesday from 1:40 p.m. to 2:20 p.m. for English 7. So for this quarter, before we start with our objectives, let me first thank SDO Pasig for allowing us to use the self-learning modules for this quarter. Thank you very much, SDO Pasig. And then I also would like to personally congratulate all the learners, the teachers, the parents, because this will be our last week for the third quarter. So congratulations everyone, naitulay po natin ang third quarter. So by next week, next Tuesday, we will be starting with Module 1 of the fourth quarter. So that will only be a few weeks. And then we're done with the whole school year 2020 2021. So that's a very, very good thing. So let us have our objectives for this afternoon. At the end of the session, you will be able to do the following tasks. First is to familiarize the features and processes involved in panel discussion. And the second one is to compose sensible, challenging, thought provoking questions about certain topics. So this quarter or this week, we're going to have or we're going to ask a lot of questions, but we're not just going to create simple questions or just common questions, because what we're going to have for this afternoon will all be about sensible, challenging, and thought provoking questions about the various topics that we're going to have for this session. So let us start now with the pretest. So please get ready for the pretest. You may have your pen and paper with you, or you may just answer directly to our comments section for our Facebook Live or our YouTube also. You can do that and participate in our tutorial session for English 7. Can we now start? Okay, while we're waiting for the others to get their materials ready, let me first greet Ma'am Teresa L. Che. Okay, and also to Cabezares J. Hilani, Cherifer K. Maramag, Annalisa Zarzadias of Dasmariñas Integrated High School, and also to all the teachers of Mangahan High School from SDO Pasig. Good afternoon, and thank you very much for supporting ETUlay. So let us now start with our pretest. For our pretest, this will be the direction. You're just going to choose between two options. The first one, you're going to write, wow, if you think the question is challenging or provoking. And you're also going to write simple if it is not. So you're going to write, of course, don't forget, write the number in answering or in writing your answers at the comment box. Let us now start with question number 1. First question. Do you know anyone or have you heard about anyone who has been cyber bullied? Again, the options would be wow or simple. Okay, write your answer. Don't forget the number. We are still in the pretest. Number 1. 1, is it a wow or simple? Okay, let me greet Ma'am May Desiree Doloriel while we're waiting for the answers. And then we also have Ariane, also Mark and Ira and Francine. And we now have some answers here from Luke, from Angelina, from D1, from Juliana, from Lance. Let us see if their answer is correct. Is it a wow? Very good. It's a wow. That's a good start. Magandang buena mano. We call that in Filipino. Next, let's have number 2. Second question. When did you first hear about cyberbullying? Okay, when did you first hear about cyberbullying? Is it a wow or simple? Again, number 2, is it a wow or simple? Okay, Patricia de Guzman, also I greet you, hi. And then we now have some answers here from Sir Rolf, from Luke, from Rigeline, from Fiona. Is it a wow? According to Brianna and Ruben, it's simple. So we now have 2 answers on our comment section. Which of these 2 is correct? Okay, number 2, it's simple. Okay, it's simple. So Wesley, you got the correct answer, and so with Don Powell Patola. Next, let's have number 3. Number 3, what springs to your mind when you hear the word cyberbullying? Okay, is it a wow or a simple? Okay, that's number 3. What springs to your mind when you hear the word cyberbullying? Wow or simple? Okay, we now have answers here from Jimwell Caballero, Cabezares, Ayego, from Francis, from Ramsol, and Ira and Angelica and Bernadette. Is it a wow or a simple? Let us check who among these people are correct. Okay, we got an answer. It's wow. Okay, so Juliana, you got it correctly, and so with Miles. Next, let's have number 4. Number 4, do you think online bullying is worse than or not as bad as physical bullying? Why or why not? Let me repeat that question. Do you think online bullying is worse than or not as bad as physical bullying? Why or why not? Is it a wow or a simple? Charles Canoy, good afternoon. We have answers from Ayega, from Jimwell, from Ramsel, from Rolf, from Jade. Let us check if their answer is correct. It's a wow. Okay, so that means that number 4 is a challenging question. Next, let's have the last number. Number 5. Do internet companies and mobile phone companies have a duty to stop cyberbullying? Again, do internet companies and mobile phone companies have a duty to stop cyberbullying? Is number 5 a wow or simple? Okay, we now have answers from, we have Look, from Ramsel, from Wenchi, from Ayego, from Ariane. What is the correct answer? Let us check. The correct answer is wow also. So the answer of Citas is correct. That's a wow. Okay, thank you very much for joining the pre-test. Let's now proceed with our activity or the discussion. So before we proceed, let's have a recap of the past lessons because all these things will be very, very beneficial or very much related to our topic for this afternoon. On week 5, I actually taught you about citing evidence. So according to week 5, citing evidence is a skill that will support the general statement of a certain topic. Now, what about week 6? This was last week. Week 6, we had assertion. So according to week 6 tutorial session, an assertion is a statement used to make a declaration or to express strong belief on a particular topic. So citing evidence of week 5 and making assertions of week 6 will be some skills that we are going to make use of in today's lesson. So don't forget all those learnings that you gained in week 5 and week 6, we are going to use them again in week 7. So let us now have this picture. I want you to look at this picture. I have here some questions. So let us analyze this picture first. Now, what you have to do is just comment the answer on the comment section. First question. What do you think is going on in the picture? What do you think is happening in the picture? Please comment your answer on the comment section. Okay, let us see. Okay, while we're waiting, let me greet Kimberly Maripinlac, Ralph de la Peña Bonyaga, Rica de Luna, Wesley Moredo, Ruben Alagao, Cabisares Jailani, and Melissa Mercado, Cedric Jane Camba for thank you very much for watching and learning with me. Okay, according to Jade, the people are talking. According to Gian Bello, it's a talk show. Okay, and then we have from Look, many people are talking. According to Juliana, they are chatting. Very good. So the 3 people here that we have on the picture are actually talking to themselves. Okay, they are talking to one another. Next question. Do you ever ask questions when you are talking with people? Is it a yes or a no? Do you ask questions when you're talking with people or you just listen and you're not really asking questions? What do you think is your answer for number 2? According to Angela, it's a yes. So she is asking questions. And so with Colleen and with Jimwell and Lan, so almost everybody are commenting yes. So that's a very good sign. At least you know how to ask questions. Next, what questions do you usually ask other people? What are the usual questions that you ask when you see a person or when you talk to somebody? What are the things that you usually ask? Can you give me just one question that you ask to a certain group of people? Okay, let me see. Okay, let me wait for. Oh, okay, we have some answers here from Kimberly. she's saying, how are you? Okay. And so with Jimwell, it's also, how are you? To Colleen, it's what happened. Okay. And yeah, we have a lot of how are yous. From Jade, it's, are you doing good? So it's very nice that most of our learners now who are tuned in to ETUlay are know or do know how to ask questions, because our skill that we are going to develop for today will be about raising questions that are thought provoking and not just simple questions. So let us now discuss the following topics. First, we will be knowing more about panel discussion and good and creative questioning, and also, of course, how to raise sensible, challenging, and thought provoking questions in a panel discussions. So, these will be the points of discussion that we are going to have this afternoon. Let us now start with our first question. What is a panel discussion? Okay, what is a panel discussion? So a panel discussion is a discussion in which few persons carry on the conversation in front of an audience. So you do this, of course, in front of an audience. So there's going to be two or more people in front of you, and then you're going to discuss a certain topic with few persons. Next, who are the members of a panel discussion? First, we have the moderator, okay? And then we have the experts or the panel. And the third would be the audience. So the moderator will be the one being like a referee. Okay, so he is the one acknowledging the members of the panel and being like a host for the discussion. And then the experts would be the one discussing the topic. And then, of course, the audience will be the one listening to the topic. So, what is good and creative questioning? Good and creative questioning develops the interest towards the problem, the ability of problem solving, and the capacity to respect other ideas, feelings, and ability of tolerance. So, good and creative questioning is very, very important in asking questions in a panel discussion. So, you need to develop, of course, this skill so that you will be able to ask very good questions. So please do remember that knowing how to raise sensible and challenging questions are very important in whatever discussion meaningful. So don't ever forget those three important things. Now, how will you be creating sensible, challenging, and thought-provoking questions? So I now have here the process on how to create the good questions. First, you have to research the issue. You don't just ask questions. You have to know more about the issue. So you use books, you use the internet. You may also ask people about different or the issue. So you will be able to know more about it. Next, when you're done researching the issue, you will now list down your questions. And then you choose, of course, which among these questions are very good, and those will be the ones that you will ask. And then, of course, you're going to create your cue card. Okay, the cue card will be the list of the most important questions that you will ask the panel so that you will not be forgetting those particular questions that you need to ask. Okay, next, now what type of question should you ask? Okay, now I have here some types of questions. Please don't forget to remember all of them. First, the questions that you should ask should always be tied to the topic. Okay, don't ever go far from the topic. Okay, next, it must also be reflective of a panelist's interest. So they will be very much informed, or they will very much tell you what is very important about that topic. Okay, or about your question. Next, it must also be representative of issues that the audience will be interested. So it's going to be very interesting. Next, it has to be very important topic to discuss, because if it's not important, why do you have to ask it? Okay, so it must be very important. And of course, the last one, it has to ignite a conversation. So that makes all these things, that makes challenging, and thought-provoking questions. So don't forget them. Before you ask the questions, try to think, try to have a checklist if all these things would be something that is tied to the topic, something that the audience will be interested, the panelist will also be interested. Is it important, or will it ignite a conversation? Those are the things that you have to assess first. Okay. Now, let me have here, or let me share with you a discussion, a sample panel discussion. So we have here the moderator, of course, and then we have panel 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'll just be reading them to you. Please listen well. You may read along if you want to. We have some questions after this. Okay, next, let's have the panel discussion. When it comes to mental health, the most common health issue is depression. Is depression an illness? Panel 1 answered. Depression is an illness. It's not just sadness. It's a feeling of between being not alive, not dead, not happy, not sad, and yet you don't know what's going on. Who is at risk of developing depression? Panel 2 says, sometimes teenagers who get seriously depressed after a divorce in the family, major financial problems, someone you love dying, or breaking up with a boyfriend or girlfriend. How can you tell if someone you know might have a depression? Panel 3 mentions depression and other mental disorders should only be diagnosed by a medical doctor, clinical psychologist, or a trained health provider who has conducted a proper mental health assessment. Do most people with depression attempt to commit suicide? And panel 4 states, no, most people who suffer from depression do not attempt suicide, but there are suicide victims who have suffered from some form of depression. This demonstrates the importance of seeking professional treatment for yourself or someone you love if you suspect depression. So now we have that, the panel discussion about depression. So let us now have our questions. Okay, let me hear your thoughts about the following questions. Let's have question number 1. What specific issue is being addressed in the panel discussion? Okay, let us see who can answer that. What do you think was the topic of the panel discussion? Okay, while we're waiting, we have here a comment from Cabisares. I learned about the fact in English. I'm really interested on discussion. Thank you very much with that. Okay, according to D1, it's depression. Very good, D1. It's really about depression. Next question. According to the panelist, can you be able to diagnose and cure depression by yourself alone? Okay, can you do that? Can you diagnose yourself and can you cure yourself from depression? Is it a yes or a no according to the panelist? According to Ayego, it's a no. Okay, so it's a no. Very good, Ayego. Next, who are more vulnerable to depression? Who are more vulnerable to depression? Okay, what do you think is the answer for number 4? Okay, let us see. Okay, so that's correct. It must be diagnosed by a health professional. Very good. So let us check whether there's still okay. We have some answers here from Regine. We have teenagers from Angela. Those who have heartbreaks. Okay, that's good. So children or teenagers, yes. According to the one, these are people with financial problems, and so with Sir RC. And next from Rochelle and Shane, teenagers. Very good. So those are all correct. Okay. And the last question we have, if you are experiencing unexplainable sadness without any reason, what should you do? Okay, what should you do? If you're experiencing unexplainable sadness without any reason, what should you do? You know, we have been experiencing a lot of stress in this pandemic, and there are a lot of people who are experiencing depression. Now, if you are already experiencing, or if you saw somebody experiencing unexplainable sadness, what will you tell him or what should you do? According to Erlane, sleep. Very good. You have to rest, right? According to Ayego, talk to trusted people. That's very good also. Regine says, find a relaxing activity to do. Okay, that's very good. And okay, to Gian, this is a very good answer. Pray. Very good. And according to Luke, seek advice with any people close to you. From according to Samantha, it's pray to God. To Jimwell also. To Jade, say your problems to your relatives. Those are very good tips, people. I'm very proud of you. So at least you know that when you are already experiencing sadness, because this is very normal, especially now that we are just confined in our homes. We don't know, have any place to go because it's very unsafe outside. At least you know what to do so that this will actually prevent us from having depression. And also, open up to others. And according to Cassandra, this is a very good advice also. You seek professional help. Those are very good things. Thank you very much for learning and for understanding the panel discussion. So now we move on to our first activity because you're now ready. So let me have the activity now. So again, just do your comments. Just write your comments, on our comment section. Ready? Let's have the direction for activity one. This will be the things that you're going to do. It's just between agree or disagree. If the statement is correct, you write agree, number, and then agree. And if it's not, you write number and then disagree. Okay? That's very easy. So let us now start with activity one. Number one. Panel discussion is a more formal way of discussing issues, problems, or topics in front of the audience. What do you think is the answer? Panel discussion is a more formal way of discussing issues, problems, or topics in front of the audience. Is it agree or disagree? Okay, we have answers from RC, from Ayego, from Lance, from Kimberly, from Jonathan, from D1, from Regine, and they have one answer. So let us check if this is correct. Very good. It's agree. Okay, that's a good thing. Next, number two. There are three members of a panel discussion. They are the moderator, the panel, and the audience. Is this correct? Is it agree or disagree? Let's have number two. Okay, let's have the answer of Rochelle is already here. We have Jill, we have Luke, we have Cetas and Rigilin and Channel and Lance. Let us check if their answer is correct. And so with Seti and Gail, the correct answer for number two is agree. Very good. Ayego, you got it correctly. And so with Faith and Jean and Chris and Melissa, very good. Next, number three. Number three, the audience do not play any role in the discussion. They are not allowed to raise questions. Is number three an agree or a disagree? Okay, what do you think is the correct answer for number three? Okay, let's have the answers now. Okay, while we're waiting, let me greet Colleen, Izzy, Leslie, Lean, Sharina. Okay, we now have answers here from Vanna, from Seti, from Miles, from Chanel, and their answer is a disagree and an agree. Let me check which is correct. It's disagree. So the audience, of course, can ask questions. Okay, next. Number four, creative questioning is the key to a meaningful discussion. Is this correct? Is it agree or disagree? Okay. Is creative questioning a key to a meaningful discussion? Okay, let me check. We have answers here from Ginalyn, from Wenchi, from Jimmy Well, from Kimberly, okay, from Yuan. Okay, let us check if their answer is correct because they're saying it's agree. It's correct. It's agree. Very good. Next, let's have number five. Number five, the members of panel discussion do not need to do further research before the activity. Again, the members of panel discussion do not need to do further research before the activity. Is it agree or disagree? Okay, let us check if the answers of Juliana, Lance, RC, Ginaline, Lawrence, Ayego, Sean, John Kiyoshi, and Jimwell. Is this correct? The correct answer is agree. Okay, so next let's have activity. Oh, before we proceed with activity 2, let us first check who among our watchers now got the correct answer or got a score of 5. Who got 5? Please comment hearts. Okay, let me see. Can you please give 2 hearts if you got a 5? 2 hearts, please. Let me check the comments. Okay, um we have answers. Oh, we have hearts now from Angela, from John Kiyoshi, from D1, from Sean, from Lance, from Gail. Thank you very much for getting a 5. That means you really learned from our activity. But those people who got 4, we still have 2 more activities. Don't worry. Let's proceed with activity 2. For activity 2, you're going to match the challenging questions from set A to the possible answers in set B. Okay, again, you're going to match the challenging questions from set A to the possible answers in set B. Here are the questions for column A. Number 1, why are women more likely to get depression? Number 2, do children experience depression? Number 3, can lack of sleep cause depression? 4, is it possible for someone who recovered from depression able to experience it again? And number 5, how long does a depression last? Okay, now what about the choices? The answers are in column B. Letter A, no, lack of sleep alone cannot cause depression, but it does play a role. Letter B, having experienced an episode of major depression does put a person at greater risk for future episodes, but not everyone who has recovered from depression will experience it again. C, yes, children are subject to the same factors that cause depression in adults. D, if left untreated, various types of depressive disorders can last for months or sometimes years. And last, letter E, women develop depression twice as often as men. One reason may be the various changes in hormone levels that women experience. Let us have number 1. What is your answer for number 1? According to Ayego, it's an E. According to Ashley, it's also an E. Let us check. Number 1, the correct answer is letter E. Very good. Ira, you got the correct answer, and Cherry Fur also. Next, let's have number 2. Do children experience depression? We have some answers here. According to RC, it's a letter C. Let us check the correct answer for number 2. Very good. It's a C. Okay. Next, how about number 3? What is your correct answer for number 3? According to Lean, it's an A. According to Cedric, it's an E. According to Jade, it's an A. Let us check. Okay, very good, Jade. It's letter A. How about number 4? What is the answer for number 4? Okay, we have some answers here. For number 4, we have B according to Angelina. According to Chanel, it's also a B. Let us check. Very good. It's a B. Okay, and of course, we have number 5. So, of course, the answer for number 5 would be letter D. Okay, so let us now have the last activity. Okay, for activity 3, For activity 3, this is what you're going to do. You're just going to choose the most sensible and provoking question which is suited to ask in the given issue, topic, or situation when being discussed in a panel discussion. Okay? So this is the real thing now. You're going to ask questions. So we only have 3 items for for activity 3. First item, asking your friend about the Mobile Legends game. What do you think would be a challenging question to ask? First, is it fun playing Mobile Legends? 2, how long do you play in a day? 3, what are the advantages and disadvantages of playing the game? And last, who do you play with? Okay, what do you think is the correct answer? Is it A, B, C, or D? Okay, what do you think is the answer for number 1? Okay, let us see. Number 1, A, B, C, D, or D. Oh, A, B, C, or D, I mean. Okay, we have answers here now. Okay, let us check if letter C is correct according to Ayego. Very good. What are the advantages and disadvantages of playing the game? That's very thought provoking. Next, number 2. How about asking the frontliners about COVID-19 patients? A. How do you keep yourself safe despite being in contact with infected patients? Letter B. Who are your parents? Letter C. How much do you earn? Or letter D. Do you have children? What do you think? Is it A, B, C, or D? What do you think is the correct answer for number 2? We have an answer here now from Sharina Gara, from Francine Reveresa, from Ralph Bonyaga, from Kimberly Maripinlak. Let us see if their answer is correct. Very good. It's how do you keep yourself safe despite being in contact with infected patients? Let's have the last item. What about this? Asking your friends who love K-pop music. Okay, we have a lot of teenagers who are very much into K-pop. Let's see what will you ask them. Letter A, did you already meet your idol? B, how did you know about them? C, do they really sing better? Or D, how does listening to K-pop music increase your self-esteem? Is it A, B, C, or D? What do you think is the most thought provoking or the most challenging and most sensible question to ask your friends who love K pop music? We now have answers here. Okay, from Luke, from Bernadette, from RC, from Jan Marie, from McRaden, from Leslie, from Rigeline also. Okay, let us see. What do you think is the correct answer? Okay, the correct answer is letter B. How does listening to K-pop music increase your self-esteem? So let us now proceed with our scores. Let me see your scores. If you got a 5 in activity 2 and activity 3, can you give me 3 happy faces? Okay, activity 1, activity 2, and activity 3. If you got a 5 in all these activities, you give me 3 happy faces. If you only got 2 5, then 2 happy faces. If you only got a 1 perfect score, then it's going to be 1 happy face. Okay, let me see your comments now so I can know your scores. While we're waiting, let me greet Ma'am Arlene B. Alberto. Her comment is very challenging activities. Thanks so much po. Thank you very much also, Ma'am Alberto, for always supporting ETUlay. Thank you very much. Okay, we now have happy faces. From Jean, they have 3. Melissa also got 3. Michaela got 3. And Angelina got 2. Lynn got 3. Gina got 2. Boymar got 2. Luke got 1. We also have Jade with 1. Christine with 3. Thank you very much for participating always, dear learners. And I hope that you really are learning with all those happy faces. So now let us proceed with our always remember slide. Okay? So let me just give you this quote to thought about, to reflect on. Please do always remember that the very first step to receiving an answer is being brave enough to ask a question. That is according to Caitlin Bochilon. So don't ever forget, do not be afraid to ask questions. Always gather your bravery and ask that question. If you think that you're going to ask a question, or the question that you're going challenge will be very interesting, will be thought provoking, then go for it, step up and give the question. But of course, don't ever forget that you have to be respectful always. That's what I always tell you. Respect in everything you do. Always be respectful in asking questions. And of course, do not ever forget, he who asks a question remains a fool for 5 minutes, and he who does not ask remains a fool forever. This is according to a Chinese proverb. So, what do you think? Do you want to be a fool for 5 minutes? Then go ask a question. If you don't want to ask a question, then that only means one thing: you want to be a fool forever. The choice is always yours. Okay, and with that, let me say thank you once again to all the learners who stayed with me from day 1 of the third quarter down to day 7 of the third quarter. Thank you very much. Your attendance, your participation, your active discussing with me, that really motivates me always, every Tuesday. Thank you very much for learning with me and for staying with me. And of course, for comments, suggestions, you may email us at edtech@deped.gov.ph. Thank you very much once again. And of course, let me just greet everybody. Good luck to the fourth quarter. We're going to have fourth quarter next week. It's going to be a few weeks left for this school year. We are going to survive this. We are going to help one another for us all to survive this school year. Please, up next, we have Tutor Rubilin for English 8. Thank you very much once again. Goodbye, everybody. And stay safe. Stay at home. God bless everyone. Bye.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETUlay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan bukas mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETUlay free online tutorial session sa Filipino. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETUlay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!